I'm David, and I started working for a big food producer just after I graduated from college. My 10th year with the company is this one. I don't believe I'm particularly attractive, but I'm not dating. I was quite green when I first started. Nevertheless, I've developed into a section head who is currently in control of multiple subordinates because of some amazing mentors as well as my own efforts. I think I'm looked up to by my team, even though I've never heard that said directly. Our workplace is relatively conventional. Therefore, during our frequent social drinking sessions, I've assisted my team in resolving both personal and professional concerns. I can be wrong, but this could be the reason people respect me. I've taken on the role of mentor to some extent for the newcomers. I've been training new hires for the previous few years. However, there's one exceptionally self-assured woman among them this year. David, I need a favor, Ethan, the department head, said to me one day in reference to the new hires for this year. This is how the discussion got underway. It was not so much a consultation as it was a request. What's going on? You've suddenly become really formal. Well, it's about a woman named Madison Clark. Clark doesn't seem familiar. Does it not? Apparently the same name as President Clark. Is that possible? Yes, she's the daughter of President Clark. Daughter of President Clark? Does that imply she is given preferential treatment? No, President Clark insists on not giving her any special treatment and wants her to be treated like anyone else. Even so, it's going to be a bit difficult to deal with, isn't it? That's the issue. She is the spoilt daughter of Mr. Clark, an incredibly loving father. She is, to put it frankly, extremely spoilt. Ah, the typical traits of a CEO's daughter. Apparently, she's very willful, always gets what she wants, and is moody, refusing to do anything she dislikes. That does seem problematic. Are you saying this because... Wait a minute. You pick things up quickly, Ethan observed with a small smile. She will be placed in your department, and you will serve as her mentor. Ah, so it's already been decided. It was determined that you are the best fit because of your history and your well-known compassion. So that's the circumstances. I am depending on you. Ethan gave me a shoulder pat and walked away. Wait, hold on. After Ethan departed, I went to the break room to get some coffee and clear my head because I was feeling down. Really, without even taking my viewpoint into account? Perhaps I ought to decline. The taste of the black coffee was very unpleasant. However, I hadn't met her yet, so it wouldn't be just to make assumptions based only on hearsay. That thought crossed my mind as I finished my coffee. Well, I might as well accept this as part of the job and give it a shot. I went back to my desk after throwing the empty cup in the garbage. The day of the new recruit's arrival then arrived. I noticed brand new hires everywhere I looked, all dressed sharply in suits. Their expressions and manner betrayed their uneasiness, which I thought was kind of cute. Our department was also given the expected new hire. I waited, excited to see what kind of person she would be, but it was well past the start time. Particularly considering that new hires were expected to show in 30 minutes early, yet they were nowhere to be found. Everyone in the department felt uneasy since Ryan, the manager, was meant to introduce her during the morning assembly, but was taken aback by her absence. I attempted to get in touch with her as I was her assigned mentor, but she didn't pick up the phone, so I was at a loss. It seemed that something had to happen. Well, we can't do the introduction right now without her present. Everyone, please get to work, Ryan said, apprehensively calling off the morning assembly. Train delays could be excused for 10 or 20 minutes, but even after an hour or two, she was nowhere to be seen. Lunch was almost over when a stranger with a lot of makeup and sparkly, extravagant clothing walked into the room. Her appearance caught everyone's attention because it was so inappropriate for a food firm. Who was that? I pondered. The identical notion must have crossed everyone's mind there. The woman entered the room, glanced around, grabbed a neighbor, and asked, "Where's my seat?" I was instructed to start coming here today. "Excuse me, but who might you be?" I inquired. "Are you unaware of who I am?" "Madison Clark is who I am." She said, "I was told to work in Sales Division 3, loudly enough for everyone in the room to pay attention to her. If you're with Sales Division 3, your desk would be over by that window. Is that so?" After that, she approached us with assurance. "Is this Division 3 sales? Where's my desk located?" Ryan got to his feet and ran to her. "Madison Clark, are you? This is where your desk is located. You have been assigned to Sales Division 3, where I oversee the Supply Management Division." "Are you serious? Is that accurate? And this is David, who will oversee your instruction. I'll leave the rest to you, David. This is Madison Clark, who has been assigned to us." Ryan hastily went back to his desk after that. "My name is David, and I'm here to help. I have been directed to instruct you on a variety of work-related topics. It's good to meet you." Yeah, nice to meet you too." Though I was a little put out by her condescending demeanor, I was able to remain composed because I had been warned. "There's something I want to say before we get to work." Her statement surprised me as I was prepared to confront her over her tardiness today. "Hey, I'm new here. Will you not be pleased to have me? You would normally welcome a newcomer, don't you? It's really depressing here, and everyone is just ignoring me and tinkering with their computers." To think she was hoping for a warm reception. I couldn't even begin to express how shocked I was. This was more self-centered than the rumors had suggested. Still, I steeled myself to go through with the training, reminding myself that this was part of the job. "Madison, do you know what time it is?" "It's almost 12 o'clock. "What? How could I be aware of that?" "You don't know the time." "I don't have a watch, and my phone's battery died, so I need to charge it." "Right. What does she say?" I thought I would have to start her education over from the beginning. She said, "Hey, how long do I have to stand here?" At that moment, "My workstation is where? Get moving and show me." I clenched my fists, almost too involuntarily, for this attitude was becoming intolerable. Ryan immediately grabbed my arm after realizing this and tried to comfort me. Rather of acting as a true mediator, it appeared more like he was attempting to salvage face. "All right, I'll let you handle the rest, haha." And with that, he was back at his desk like a man avoiding flames. Regaining my composure somehow allowed me to start the actual training, reasoning that, as annoying as this is, I have to get through it as part of the job. First things first, a business computer and your office materials are ready. My workstation is right next to yours. Assemble the computer and stash the supplies within the desk. You can read this guidebook to learn how. Please feel free to ask any queries you may have. She let out a deep breath and reluctantly started to arrange and set up her desk. Yeah, what a hassle. It's me who wants to sigh in this situation. I have been assigned such a difficult new recruit. In any case, she will be working in sales and has been assigned to our department. I was going to start her out by teaching her the ropes. The CEO's daughter expressed lack of excitement when I taught her how to welcome and bargain with clients, asking, "Why do I have to perform this kind of work? I can't possibly be inspired by chores like these." "We're in the sales department," I said, sighing. "We must market our goods to customers. It's your responsibility to sell our clients' stuff. For now, concentrate on the task at hand." She pouted during the training, accepting it with reluctance. I went about a training regimen systematically, even if she lacked common sense. It was time for her sales debut at last. I picked a reliable, dependable client from my network to go with her. She only needed to smile in the background, as it was only intended to be an introduction. She's never been quiet before, though, so I doubted it. "The client is very important. Please be mindful of your behavior," I told her over and over. But I was unable to overcome my nervousness. Naturally interested in the new hire, the client asked a number of questions that left me feeling tense and completely worn out. We were able to see the client without any significant problems, for some reason. It was a relief that the client's supervisor was understanding and forgave her little transgressions because she was a newbie. But after only one client meeting, she seemed so worn out that I began to worry about when she would be able to support herself. It was almost time to clock out before I realized it. Gee, why must I endure all of this? I was thinking about this, lost in thought. All of a sudden, I realized she was missing. Thinking she could have gone inside, I glanced inside the convenience shop, but she wasn't there either. Neither in front of us nor behind us could we find her. I pondered where she could have gone and tried to give her a call, but we had to head back to the office to make a report. "Oh, David, do you need something?" she responded. "Not that I'm in need of anything. Where are you at this moment? We must return to the office to finish the report." "How come?" "However, aren't we already past business hours?" "I'm taking a taxi home right now." Was I meant to head straight back? Anyhow, I'm leaving for home. Hey, she just hung up after saying what she wanted to say. What a self-centered show. I was desperate for some patience. She arrived late to work the following day, as usual, and I caught her. "Come on in. What's the deal with this suddenly?" "Please accompany me." Despite my severe tone, she grudgingly obeyed with her typical behavior. We went to the conference room, and I forced her to take a seat. "What made you walk away by yourself yesterday?" "Well, I went home because it was the end of the workday, and I didn't want to work overtime. At the very least, let me know before you leave. I will be concerned if you vanish without saying anything. You're scaried, dash. Isn't it evident to leave the office and head home without saying anything? It is common courtesy to notify before departing. Do you not even comprehend that fundamental idea? David, you're frightening me. It goes without saying that with your present mindset, you're failing both personally and in sales. And yesterday, why did you not speak with me? Perhaps you ought to have announced your departure. You already know that you'll become lonely at work. Do you comprehend? You don't have to express it that way, though. You are the one forcing me to say it." I erupted into a verbal storm of rage. We had this conversation for about an hour. Eventually, she stopped talking, unable to respond. However, when I finished speaking, I observed a shift in her attitude. Her fists were clenched tight, her eyes were gloomy, and her mouth was turned down in a frown. Still, she continued to glare at me while snapping her mouth shut and bellowing, "How dare you lecture me?" "Just wait," she exclaimed, storming out the room. I wanted to punch my former self for accepting her training at that very moment. Going to the break room to pass time with a coffee, I'd assumed she wouldn't be back at her desk for a bit. I returned to my desk as soon as I felt it was time. "What on earth did you do to her?" Ryan asked, his face pale as he walked up to me. "What are you trying to say?" I was merely offering her some advice regarding her studies. She sobbed as she went. What? It was unbelievable to me that she had left for home. It felt as though she had shot herself in the foot. Ryan continued to tell me that she was still new and to be kinder. However, when I shot back, "So, Ryan, are you going to look after her? You know, she's a handful." He lapsed into silence. Ryan told me that President Clark wanted to see me the next day. "President Clark invited you to attend. There's something crucial to talk about," he stated. Well, this news isn't going to be good. The other workers were chatting among themselves in whispers. The history was well known, and it was widely accepted that she was the president's daughter. When the provided data was analyzed, the solution became evident. Well, I get it. I'm going to spend some time in the president's office. Sure, please carry that out. This must be the end for me professionally. It seemed as though I was given my death sentence. She probably complained about me to her father, President Clark, given her personality. She probably overstated the story because of her personality. Will I even receive severance compensation, and if so, can I live off of it in savings? Not if I get fired for wrongdoing. I made my way to the president's office carrying these ideas. My gait was heavy, and so was my mood. I banged on the president's office door. It's David from the sales department, coming. Just, excuse me. I spotted President Clark and Ethan inside as I pulled open the door and went inside. For me, this is undoubtedly the end. I thought this as I stood there motionless. Surprisingly softly, President Clark apologized for calling during business hours. I'm grateful you could make it. Kindly have a seat. His manner confused me, but I did as he requested and sat down. Then all of a sudden, President Clark apologized to me. I apologize for all of it. My daughter seems to have been giving you a lot of grief. No. Well, yes, but I had never experienced President Clark apologizing to me before. I was still in disbelief when President Clark smiled warmly and started speaking serious. My daughter has been through a lot. President Clark's experience can be summed up as follows. His wife put in a lot of work with him while he started the company. Her unwavering efforts, nonetheless, resulted in disease and hospitalization. Then Mr. Clark and his daughter were the only ones living at home. She used to vent her frustrations on her father because, in her tender years, she yearned for her mother's affection. Mr. Clark attempted to make up for not being able to attend to her due to his job commitments by granting all of her wishes. Her spoiled conduct was the result of this strategy backfiring. It was too late when he recognized his parenting error. As I heard this, I couldn't help but feel bad for her. She was venting her anger at her father at work. Isn't it what they refer to as acting out? I hope she wouldn't use her privileges at work, even though her feelings toward her father were none of my concern. To start with, I'm sorry for entrusting you with my daughter's education. To be honest, I've failed as a father, said President Clark once more. But from what I've heard, you're highly valued for your mentoring within the organization. My daughter doesn't listen to me, but since you've been guiding her, she has begun to show some signs of change. This proves it was a good idea to find her interesting. Okay. It seemed that the worst-case situation had been averted, but I had no idea what to say. I may have worried you a little because of the situation, but in reality, the reverse is true. I want you to keep working hard. Please treat my daughter with the strictness you require, without taking my status into account. Yes, I do comprehend. I'll work hard to live up to your expectations. President Clark appeared to have realized that his daughter wasn't best served by merely being pampered. How about this? You handle everything pertaining to my kid. I won't stop you no matter what she says, so please keep teaching her rigorously the way you know best. Yes, I do comprehend. I'll try my hardest. Sorry to involve my personal matters, but I'm counting on you. The result caught me off guard, and I felt overburdened with responsibility, but it was also relieving to know that I was entrusted with something so significant. I made the decision to approach her differently. When she casually sauntered in beyond the start time the following day, as usual, I approached her. Madison, do you even realize what time it is? Hi. H. David. Happy morning. Isn't it 10:30? It appears that up until now, I've been too forgiving of you. I'm going to be thorough from now on, so be ready for that. Thorough? By what do you mean? Is it really legal for you to say that? I am, indeed. Express yourself whatever you please. To begin with, why are you here at this particular time? The working hours of the company were disclosed to you during your orientation, right? Yes. So what time is our company supposed to start work? 8:50 a.m. You're telling me that you respect the end time, but not the beginning time. Does that even make sense? Well, I'm just not a morning person. At 8:50 a.m., nobody would be here if that excuse were true. What time of day do you typically wake up? Currently at 9:00 a.m. I'm shocked. The commencement time of 9:00 a.m. has already passed. I apologize. Please set your alarm for 6:00 a.m. tomorrow. I aim to arrive at work by 8:30 a.m. every day. You ought to follow suit. What? Not at all. That is not feasible. Furthermore, from now on, there will be penalties for being late. Her face flushed crimson red at the news. She was obviously quite angry. David, are you even capable of that? Are you in the right? Yes, I do. The decision has been made. President Clark has given me complete authority in relation to your matter. This implies that President Clark is unable to influence the choices I make. That is despotism. Power abuse. Yes. I'll utilize my power wisely. There will be fines for being late starting tomorrow. I may deduct money from your paycheck if it doesn't resolve the problem. That's harsh. If the fines bother you, put in a lot of effort in your work. That is all there is to it. Yes, she reluctantly accepted my requirements. It's not your fault that you're late today, but at least dress nicely. All workers in our organization, which handles food, are required to keep a clean workplace. You work in sales. While the client from the other day may have been understanding, not all clients will be. Start by speaking more clearly and dressed correctly. She was muttered something under her breath and appeared to be whining. Do you have something to say? No. I know you may whine all you want, but just control your words. You should act like the working adult that you are. Indeed, I did declare my intentions in front of everyone. But since she continued to look unhappy, I moved the lecture into a meeting room. I started by stressing the value of appropriate grooming. Maintaining a certain level of knowledge about haircut, nail length, and the fundamental common sense expected of working professionals is essential for staff handling food. She responded with objections as I highlighted each problem. Why is my hairstyle not looking right? That shouldn't be an issue as long as it's properly set and my nails are painted nicely, right? At that point, I emphasized how crucial it is to keep a professional manner when working for a food company. The same standard of hygiene and cleanliness is anticipated even if one is not working directly on-site. She argued about personal rights and uniqueness, but I was clear that selfishness and individuality are not the same thing. She was the source of change, else it would be pointless. I persevered with patience. Pay attention to your haircut and nail length in addition to your clothing when it comes to grooming. We all need to exercise mindfulness as employees of food companies, even if we're not working in the production sector. Even my nails and hairdo. But I'm not cooking, am I? It is a fundamental idea. Workers in the food industry cannot afford to make a negative impression. Clarity must be maintained, and good grooming is a necessary component of that. I knew, even though she didn't seem to agree. Her agreement seemed encouraging to me. I chose to use my new strategy for the time being, but she was late again the very following day. Oh, of course, Madison. What took place today? I'm on my way, was all that I heard. Well, I just couldn't wake up early. I see. I got it then. I have to impose a penalty, as I have warned. You are to clean the men's and women's restrooms as your punishment. Cleaning the toilet. This is how things are going to be, so don't whine. But the cleaning lady usually does that. Whatever? Acquire knowledge by working together. I said, come with me, taking Madison by the arm and leading her to the restrooms. I gave her the cleaning products after that, but she dropped the cleaning supplies. I can't do this. It's impossible. Oh dear, you shouldn't treat the tools so roughly. A voice called out to them from behind. It was the maid. Is this the girl David mentioned? I see. It appears that she needs to be becoming more resilient. Yes, that is her. She's a real handful. I apologize for bringing this up so quickly. Please, take care of her. Don't worry, leave it to me. What's with this lady? Madison whispered to herself. This is Evelyn, who is well known throughout the organization for her loving demeanor. Every year, she assists in the training of new recruits. She's more severe than I am. Please introduce yourself. Madison here from sales. Hello. I'm glad to have met you. Hey, hello. This is Evelyn. I've worked here for 15 years. I was raised in downtown New York and am the most intrusive person here. Just wait. I'll teach you the proper way to clean. Evelyn gave a hearty laugh. Evelyn is much more than the cleaning lady that everyone just refers to her as. Madison was perplexed. Grab those tools now. Since they are weapons, we must handle them carefully. I've never cleaned toilets before. Well then, this is a great opportunity. I will thoroughly instruct you. You can go until it's finished, so get ready. Madison gave me a desperate look. That's the reality. Even though you may not be valuable at work, you can still make a difference here. Take this as a lesson and consider what you did. All right. Yes, everything is fine. Prepare. I'll lend you an extra apron. Please move quickly, or I'll squirt water on those lovely clothing. I apologize for the inconvenience and I appreciate your help, I said to Evelyn. Don't mention it. I returned to work, but my worries about the state of affairs prevented me from concentrating. I went to see how they were doing around half an hour later. Look, the dirt won't come off if you just draw circles like that. You lack efficiency greatly. We'll stay here until the morning if you continue on this path. Are you incapable of cleaning? Ensure that the brush reaches the corners. Like this? Madison asked, panting. Yes, that's better, but you need to put more effort into it. I can't anymore. My hands are too tired. Oh, please, hurry up. There are still 3 to complete, and you've only completed 2. You're already giving up on me? I'm in my 60s, and I do this on every floor every day. You know, kids these days, you need to be thanking David. No, all of this is because he takes you seriously. You would have been out on your ear by now if he had given up on you. Are you serious? Considering everything, why do you believe he's still harassing you? He sees something in you and wants to help, just like me. Are you serious? You know you're loved. Heh. As soon as I saw how hard she was working, I decided against saying anything. Madison was demonstrating the effort of someone who was sincerely striving. She was panting and sweating. After all, punishment is required and has been shown to be successful. Her tardiness dramatically decreased starting the following day. She's actually capable, the cleaning lady affirmed. She's simply been pouting and not putting in her best effort. With the right care, she has the potential to be very talented. Madison was remarkably attentive during a session I conducted on pricing negotiations for product delivery. She made careful notes and listened intently before coming over to me. Thank you for the session today, David. It was incredibly educational. Hey, you're acting really helpful today. Have you consumed anything odd? What topic are you discussing? This is serious, I promise. I apologize for it. What's going on then? All right, so what is it? How come you don't become angry with someone as self-centered as I am? It's required for the job. I also want you to gain independence as soon as possible. I'm holding these study sessions for that reason. She therefore recognized her own selfishness. It was a strange realization to me. Does becoming independent help you in any way? Obviously there is. What kind of thing would that be? First off, I wouldn't have to worry about unnecessary things. Please respond thoughtfully. Well, it means less work for me if I can interest you in a job. Madison said, David, you kind of a softie, aren't you? You seem really sure, though. Similar to that housekeeper. Is that a backhanded praise of any kind? You're still as naughty as ever, just when I thought you'd grown more mature. That's just the way I am. Grumbling, she turned away and walked out of the room. Well, even though she remained chubby, her growth was evident. Actually, I had begun piquing her curiosity by checking in with a few clients. And overall, I got good feedback, which was indicative of her attitude on her first day of work. Seeing how much she has changed, almost like a different person, feels oddly moving. I'm happy that, in spite of the difficulties, I persisted in mentoring her. I also have to thank the cleaning lady who assisted me in taking care of her. Next, 5 years went by. My mentorship at the time was acknowledged, and I received a seamless promotion to section chief. President Clark went so far as to say that my promotion included a thank you note for that period. Madison was now in charge of her own team of subordinates. I used to believe she was just a prick, but upon closer inspection, she did have some endearing qualities. But now her subordinates saw her as a formidable boss. Is it too much to ask? You won't be employed by us for very long if you have that mindset. Call me if you're going to be late. Please don't send me an email. I won't reply to it. It's okay to dress up, but keep in mind that our business is centered around food. No long nails at all. Make sure to trim them before entering. Guiding her juniors, she sounded just like me in the past. That obstinate newbie actually did change. She did, after all, always say things boldly. David, I'm used to thinking like this. We must head out quickly to avoid being late for our appointment. Yes, exactly. Please allow me a moment to prepare. Madison reprimanded me after I was discovered to be daydreaming. Then, both of us started off. You've evolved, have you not? Well, I suppose my efforts were fruitful. For real? Yes, I appreciate your advice. You know, your tie is a little loose. You ought to be more aware that a food industry employee's look matters. Then she helped me tie my tie. I apologize, but you continue to talk too much. What are you saying? Have you read the materials for today? You do remember to present, right? She gave me a tie as a gift and remembered my birthday, even though she's still as talkative as ever. She appeared to realize that this was the first time I had worn it. Regarding the tie, I appreciate that. I'm often chastised for having conventional wisdom. You can complain too, surely. Oh, come on, that's not really important. She muttered something under her breath. Such an oblivious. But I couldn't quite make out what she said. What did she say? Should our presentation go well today, perhaps we ought to rejoice as a group. I quickly made my way to the client's place after thinking that.